Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo with you after a 5-1 Cubs win over the White Sox. We're coming to you from Studio W. We had a bet with the Sox guys in the pregame show. Winner gets the big studio. Loser gets Studio L for the post-game show, and that's where they're at doing their post-game show if you're a Sox fan right now. Hey, they avoid the season sweep. This was a really good game by the Cubs, really. Like, they had a lot of positives that we'll be able to talk about, starting number one with Keegan Thompson, who, again, I don't agree with A.J. Przinsky a lot of times, but I do on this case that when you look at the future, you're going to have to start to consider Keegan Thompson there. Listen, these were 5 solid innings. The further he goes, the more times I see him as a starter, I at least see that the flexibility is there.
Yeah.
Right? We know he can be that reliever guy, 3 innings, easy. He's starting to look like he might be able to stretch out into something more.
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, I was hoping, or I mentioned, the most we've seen him go like 60, 65 pitches. Tonight went well over 70, and David Ross let him get out of his own mess, which I was happy to see as much as, as nervous as I was during that moment. But, I think I don't want to say that start was a test. I really don't think it was a test, but him showing that even that third time to the lineup, I mean, the third time he saw Tim Anderson, that was the strikeout that he got.
Right.
And again, Tim Anderson's one of the best hitters in the game right now, and that when he allowed those 2 guys on, and then the top of the order comes up and he managed to get out of it. I mean, you gotta tip your cap to him. He had a great game tonight. 5 innings strong, 4 strikeouts. ERA is down to 1.58 on the season. This guy shoves, man. Like, I know we've talked about it at ends. No one on this team is untouchable when it comes to like the deadline and stuff.
Well, you'd have to get something back special.
Yeah, if you're moving Keegan Thompson and all that control, which again, I don't think the Cubs are actually going to do that, but if just in terms of who's untouchable and not, but I think you got to put Keegan Thompson as someone who's untouchable right now, and it's not just 1 month. He's put 2 months of just absolute stellar pitching for the Cubs, and it's beautiful because, again, homegrown pitcher. Like, for years, we have missed it. And, Justin Steele had that 10 strikeout game, but I think there's a lot more higher upside in Keegan Thompson. And Justin Steele is my guy, by the way. But I just think that Keegan Thompson, what we've seen this year, how he's been able to get hitters out, it's been very fun to watch. So, yeah, man, like, for me, as far as, like, this game, it's a nice little bounce back after you give up 20 runs to the Reds. And you're going into the South Side to face a team that I guess is a little, like, they're on the ropes. They weren't playing well coming into this
knocked them
game
under
either.
500 again.
Yeah, like, there weren't even that many times where the Sox had the Cubs on their heels.
No.
And you got to credit the pitching to that, in my opinion. I mean, I think whenever the Cubs and the Sox played at Wrigley, there was a lot, like, everyone remembers that I was mad and, like, salty about a lot of things.
Right.
A lot of the reasons I was salty is because every time the Sox beat the shift or a slow dribbler down the third base line in a big moment that allowed the Sox to score a run in a game where there weren't a lot of runs. This one just kind of felt like the Cubs were due. because I felt like in the 2 games at Wrigley, the Cubs actually didn't play that bad in those games. That the reason I was so mad is because like the way they lost, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Tonight, you get 5 strong from Thompson. Your bullpen comes in with the lead. Not to mention the offense. Nico Horner 3 hits tonight. Morel again, like 2 walks and a hit. Like they scored early. Thompson was great, and then the bullpen shut it down. Like you watch a game like this, and you sit here and you wonder how in the fuck are the Cubs 18-26?
Well, it still takes a lot of things to happen for that lineup to deliver. And they did deliver in this game. And Thompson now, as you mentioned, has faced the White Sox twice too. He's given up 2 runs this season, but his relief appearance really was good against them. When it was at Wrigley Field, Tim Anderson hit the home run. This outing was also very good. 5th inning, I was a little concerned that maybe for him that he was in there a little bit too long, but he got through it, like you said. And I know that record really means very little now in Major League Baseball when you look at stats, but 5-0, and you say, well, okay, 5-0 is impressive, especially for a reliever, but the 1.58 ERA is where you can look at it right there and say, he's got it. Like, he's getting the job done. And again, this lineup didn't have Luis Robert, and it didn't have Moncada.
Or Eloy.
Yeah. But there are still a lot of big hitters like that they would never consider trading. And so it was nice. It was nice to see the Cubs at least get one in the series. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I thought this was their best chance, mostly because it was going against Cueto. And despite the fact that he came in not giving up any runs so far with the Sox, I said in the pregame show, I'm like, if somebody's going to have a bad game between the 2 pitchers, my belief was that it was going to be Cueto.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a bad outing, but it wasn't as great as they were expecting.
The stat line doesn't look great, but that's because
it added on at the end.
Right.
He probably
we were all
sitting
here asking why La Russa didn't take Cueto out in that last inning he pitched.
He should have been out with 3 runs, probably.
We were standing next to each other, and I was like, you'd think that they'd take him out, and this was with Happ coming to the plate. They let him work around him, end up in a 3-0 count. They just go ahead and walk him, and then Wisdom comes up, and you're like, okay, like if they're going to leave Cueto in here, you got it. Like this is your best chance to get the strikeout because we've talked about it ends about how Wisdom is, strikes out a lot. And Wisdom put the ball in play. And the Cubs, they didn't end up needing it, but at the time it was like, oh, it's a great insurance run. The Cubs were only up 3-1 at the time, ended up getting another one there and then another one after that. At the moment of the time, that's when you felt like, okay, the Cubs are going to win this game. Like they put them down at the end there in that 7th inning. So I would say David Ross managed this game perfectly tonight. But again, when you get really good starting pitching and your offense scores early, it's really hard to fuck up a game. But as you mentioned, though, it wasn't just the starters. Efros, Martin, Wick, Givens, Robertson. Yeah.
4 innings, no runs.
Yeah.
4 innings, no runs. Like the bullpen has had, in the last week, it had a bump. And David Ross said they can't expect him to do it every single time. But Keegan Thompson combined with the bullpen, and that was enough to really shut down the White Sox. Like they made some guys, Givens struck out Abreu in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And it was an ugly strikeout. And Abreu is a professional hitter. Like, clearly the man knows how to hit. He's the MVP in the American League, reigning MVP. Like, he's a good hitter, and Givens made him look bad. Those guys are, again, just like you say, Thompson is probably not going to be traded. You would hope, if you're serious about winning soon, you would hope that Horner's not on a trading block. You would hope that Efros and Thompson are not on a trading block. Martin, Givens, Robertson, hey, this was national TV. Everybody could watch this one. Everybody could see it.
Yeah.
As you like to put out the graphic on Twitter, the stock going up.
The stock is going up, yeah.
Still available.
Givens tonight especially, I thought that he looked really great in that inning, like you said. The bullpen again, man, if the Cubs could just hold a lead going into the 6th inning and get a starter to at least give them 5 innings every start, they would probably at least be 500 right now. With the way that their offense has played, probably the last couple weeks. Like, it's frustrating that like they can play a game like they did tonight.
Yeah.
Again, I understand the White Sox, they haven't hit their stride. They're not playing like everyone thought they would going into this year. I totally get it. But that doesn't take away the fact that the Cubs won this game just playing really good baseball.
But that's the difference between an okay to good team to a great team is the consistency. The teams that can do it night after night, you start to pile up the wins. The chat has been going like wild. Like,
yeah,
this chat's really been fired up. A lot of people just excited, I think, to beat the White Sox once.
Yeah,
but I think it's some of the guys that delivered that make it, really a good win. When a Keegan Thompson is having a big game, that gives you double reason to be excited for a Cubs win. Bears fan man has Ortega throwing out Grandal at home was great. Not only was it, I thought he had already scored.
Yeah.
Not only was it shocking how slow he was, but it was one of the key plays of the game. Like,
it really
that
was.
was the White Sox responding. And when he was thrown out, we put out the Twitter poll. What were the options?
The Twitter poll was who would win a race to home plate, and it was Yachty, Dan Vogelbach, Yasmani Grandal, or retired Miggy Montero.
I mean,
which
that was and we remember earlier in the season where Pujols was trying to round the bases and was like outrageously slow.
Grandal is second lowest fast, like the slowest
runner,
fastest sprint speed at 22 miles per hour. That is literally bottom 2 out of every qualified player.
He looked slower than Paul Konerko, and he was a great player too, but he ran with a piano on his back. That was outrageous. And I know the ball was short into like center field, so he didn't have to throw it very far. I couldn't believe how far he was thrown out by. It wasn't even, and then he stopped running. He knew he was so out, he's just like, whatever, I'm out.
We got 313 votes on the poll right now. 78.9% think retired Miggy Montero can win a race to home plate between those four.
Could outrun.
14% think Dan Vogelbach. 3.4% think Yasmani Grandal. And 2.3% say Yachty. I say all of those ones who voted for Vogelbach, Grandal, and Yachty are bots. So 100% in my eyes say that Miggy Montero would win a race between those four.
Jack apparently is bouncing back and forth between the two podcasts because he says Herb's in the other room on the other side of the wall saying that he's faster than Grandal.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. We had Herb in left field the other day at softball. He can move. He can move.
Yeah?
He's good on his feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the funnier plays I've seen in baseball in a long time.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't he score?
Yeah. And it's not like, I wouldn't say Ortega is a bad outfielder, but he's not known for his arm.
I don't know if anybody's like, look out for that rocket from Ortega coming in from the outfield.
That's just how slow he is. I don't remember if there were 2 outs or not in that inning, but for them to just send Grandal there knowing how slow he is, it's a bold move, Cotton.
Matt says he made Konerko look like Billy Hamilton. Yeah, it was.
So right here, you could see he's not even on the screen.
Yeah,
he's
not even on
no,
the
I know the
he's
ball is
completely
about to
out
hit
of the
dirt.
frame. Right, I
It's
agree.
about to hit the dirt around home plate, and
Right.
he's not even halfway to the plate. It was.
Right.
If he's that slow, that's a terrible send.
Yeah.
A terrible send.
Yeah.
And it definitely changed some of the
it definitely didn't allow them to gain any momentum.
No,
that's for sure.
like it changed the feel of it.
Yeah.
Bears fan man, at least Vogelbach made it to the plate. Barely. That's the one where
Barely.
Wilson tagged him out and they had the little brush up, right?
Yeah. Man.
Speaking of brush ups, that we talked about it in the pregame show, but that Jock Peterson thing just keeps getting funnier and funnier with Tommy Pham. Now he's actually showing, if you didn't hear about it, Tommy Pham in batting practice went up and slapped Jock Peterson. And when you say slap, like, it was like one of those slapping contests. It looks like he pretty much punched him in the face. And it was over a fantasy football complaint that he had. And so Jock Peterson told the media exactly what the move was, that they were in some league, and he was mad that I picked up a player when a guy was hurt.
Yeah.
And then Pham responded, no, it also had to do with he was disrespecting my then teammates with my former teammates with the Padres. So Jock Peterson tonight that comes out and says, here's the comment I made on the chat.
Yeah.
And he shows the chat. It was just meaningless.
Yeah.
Just like a harmless, joke.
Right. Then there was like a GIF of like these guys lifting weights or something like that.
Probably worse stuff has been said in my own family fantasy football league.
Right, yeah.
And he went up and punched him in batting practice over it.
I mean, Tommy Pham, former St. Louis Cardinal.
There you go.
I can't confirm if, he got his softness from playing in St. Louis, but I would like to believe that that's basically it. So, you hate to see it. Jock Peterson, Cubs legend. I'm on Team Jock here.
Me too.
And I also loved his explanation of it. Like, he apologized and everything. I wouldn't have apologized. I think he just didn't like being a distraction in a way. So, good on him, but Team Jock.
Let's see what else we got on there on the chat. I still say Thompson should be given more opportunities in the rotation. AJ basically said that, like, you need to see him more. And you wonder if he will. I'm certainly, once the trade deadline comes and goes, I think he will get those opportunities to be a starter.
Who are we talking about again?
Keegan Thompson.
Keegan Thompson.
I do believe he'll get those opportunities once the trade deadline passes.
Right.
Before then, he's starting to look like he deserves those chances.
Right. I mean, if you get more outings from Justin Steele like we did on Thursday, then I think you might be able to flip him. But like right now, you look at the rotation, it's Hendricks, Stroman, Miley, Steele, and who am I missing?
Hendricks, Stroman, Miley, Steele.
Who's the other one? Who am I not thinking of?
Smiley.
Oh, and Smiley. Yeah,
Smiley.
sorry.
Smiley and Miley, you say one and you think you'd set them both.
And that's such disrespect because Smiley has played very well in his role this year. So you figure by the deadline, Smiley's probably going to be sent somewhere.
Yeah.
Miley as well. Then you can put Thompson in there. I mean, who knows? Maybe they don't move both. Maybe they only move one. I don't know. But right now, the only person I guess you could talk about flipping out of there is Steele. And yeah, he wasn't great in his last start, but that was one start.
Yeah.
He had 2 great starts against Arizona. And, so yeah, we need more consistency out of Steele, but it's not like Steele's been horrific as a fourth starter. Yes, we need more consistency and you need more length out of him for sure. Because if he's not going to have his best stuff, you still need him to find a way to at least give you 4 or 5 innings. That's what good and great pitchers do. But again, we have to look at Steele the same way that we're looking at Thompson. We got to find out, can Steele make 30 starts a year and can you rely on him? And I still think the bill's still out. We don't really fully know. So I understand people might not agree with that, but I don't we're 19 and 26. What's the point of flipping them out right now? If you're going to put Keegan Thompson in there, you might as well wait until after one of those starters has moved to the deadline.
Right. And then you have Killian and Keegan.
Yeah.
The Kid K's are going.
The Kid K's, yeah.
Second half of the season. I see White Sox Paul has joined the chat.
Oh.
I believe he predicted 12-2 White Sox.
He did.
Thanks for playing, Paul.
You hate to see someone so soft to come to the Cubs chat after your team
lost. He must be bored with the Sox podcast, but that doesn't seem right. Those guys are probably having a good time.
He says Herb is your dad.
Right.
Yeah, Herb is your dad, Luke.
Right.
Is he my dad or is he?
The math doesn't add up on that one.
No, it doesn't add up.
He could maybe be my dad. Probably still a little.
I mean, they're still up 2-1 in this
That's right.
series. Again, it's just nice to win one. We are what we are.
I don't want to be the therapist in the room, but Paul, since you're the only White Sox fan out there, don't give up hope. I realize you had World Series aspirations and your team is one game under 500 and it's almost Memorial Day. I realize Tony La Russa is your manager. I realize things aren't going well.
He likes to take naps in the dugout. I realize that.
We know he left your pitcher in a little bit too long tonight, but those are all things for guys on the other side of the wall.
Exactly.
This is Studio W tonight. Studio L is over there.
He says, I
still think they
trolling."
have a chance. I still think they have a chance to win the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, the Braves proved it last year.
Yeah. And
Other teams have proven it. You can be 500 at the.
I know people hate saying, "Oh, it's still early," but it is still early for a team like theirs.
They still. I mean,
we watched the Cubs in 2017. Remember, they were barely 500.
Yes.
At the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Then they got hot as soon as the break ended, and they ended up in the NLCS.
if they get they definitely need a second baseman.
Yeah.
They might need a manager change. I think the manager change would have happened on most teams right now. But we know that Tony and Jerry are very tight.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that move's going anywhere. But, hey, this was a game for Cubs fans. Like we say, enjoy the moments.
Yeah.
You know, there probably won't be 85 of these this season.
Probably not. You never know. If they win tomorrow, I might talk myself into it.
You might. You might. Did you make any bets, by the way, tonight?
I didn't. I needed to.
You took the night off.
I needed a break. It's been a bad stretch for me.
See, it's like the guy that struck out like 3 nights in a row. He's got like 2 strikeouts each night.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Take a night, watch the game from the bench,
Right.
and then get back in it tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow, when we come in for pregame, right before pregame, I'm gonna log on to PointsBet, and we're getting back on the right track. All right. The best way to support CHGO is if you download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker, similar to the one that I'm wearing. If you have any questions, email pointsbet at allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish all from your phone. As I say every show, if Luke can do it, everyone can do it. Everyone in the chat, literally all of you, you can all do it if you have not already. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
My dad's getting noisy on the other side of that wall. It must be a heated podcast going on. Our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I didn't have time, wanted better gut health, more energy, and optimized immune system. Now I've been on it for a couple months. I love it. It doesn't taste super healthy. It's kind of mild, tropical, and I look forward to taking it in the morning. So what is it? Well, 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food, super-sourced superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, and you get your day started right. It's a special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, all of those things. I get a noticeable boost really in the morning, Cody. I take it and bang, right there, I feel it right away. And so that's why I start my day off that way. It's lifestyle friendly too. It's keto, it's paleo, it's vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free. You're all good with AG1, and you're investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day. 5-star reviews, how about more than 7,000 of those? And right now, you can reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to watch out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, 5 free travel packs for your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Again, athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Cubs win 5-1. They beat the White Sox in control right from the start. Listen, offensively, we talked about a lot of the pitching things that went well in this game. The Cubs got the leadoff man on.
Yeah.
In innings, okay?
Can we just sit
now,
here
we'll
and
get to
just-
Morel in a second, but
Okay.
they got a guy on in the first, the leadoff man was on.
Mm-hmm.
In the second inning, leadoff man was on. In the seventh inning, leadoff man was on. All three scored. All three times they scored. So that's the way to get an inning going. And I just liked Sean was over there. He couldn't believe it, but they put 27 balls in play against Cueto.
Yeah.
Like they were making contact. They had a clear approach early in the game. It was go after him.
Yeah, they were swinging early and often. Like this Cubs offense, it can look very competent for a few innings, and then it can look very incompetent for a few innings. And if there's anything consistent about it this year, is they do score early. They're really good at scoring early in games.
Yeah. When
they do score, and the big problem has been they always give it up. Like I mean, Thursday was prime example. You start the game 3-0, and then proceed to give up 8 runs.
Right. Yeah.
Or 10 runs, whatever. So yeah, tonight you got two quick runs in the first inning, and they were off and running. And it really did start with Morel in that first inning, though. He's been so fun to watch. I love watching his at bats, and then when he does get on base, he brings the speed factor then, and 2 walks tonight out of the leadoff spot. Again, a guy who was in Double-A is now batting leadoff for the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
Like, it's not like they're babying him and putting him down in the 9-hole. He is batting leadoff for the Chicago Cubs.
And it's not like he's a top 100 prospect either.
Right.
He's further down on their list of prospects, but obviously someone that's impressed them. You were looking into some of his stats about patience at the plate. We're talking about him being a guy potentially in the right now, we both say, leave him in the leadoff spot. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
He's doing what you want him to do in the leadoff spot. But to see the progression that he has made that you were talking about from A-ball to Double-A to the major leagues, he's showing growth as a player.
Right.
And he's young. What, he's 22?
22.
22. So he's making major steps as a 22-year-old, not only at the level that he's playing at, but improving each level he goes to. And that's what's really impressive. Some guys will do great at a lower level, but they're only good at that level. And then they go to the next level and they really, really struggle.
Yeah.
He's making improvements going from one level to the next level to the next level. And now he's at the major league level, and he's still doing it, in fact, even more.
You're right. We were talking about this tweet earlier. It's from Matt Clapp. He's at the blog finds over on Twitter. A great Cubs follow. He's also a good Bears follow too. So he tweeted on May 17th, my birthday, by the way, an A-ball from 2018 through 2019, so 371 plate appearances. He walked 2.9% of the time. In the 578 plate appearances after that, he walked 9.5% of the time. And we've clearly seen that carry to the major league level now. And again, there will be a point where the league catches up, but if he, the at-bats that he has worked so far, usually these young guys come up and they'll mash, kind of like how Seiya did in that first couple, that month of April. He was mashing. He walked some too, but I don't know what it is. He just isn't. He's not chasing a lot of bad pitches. He knows the strike zone well so far, it seems. I'm trying really hard to not hop over that line to say this guy's part of the future. I just want to keep watching. Give me a good 2-month sample size of this. And then and if he does this for another couple months, then yeah, this is a guy that I want on my team going forward. No matter what, he's going to be in the Cubs, whether it's the major league team or in the system next year, no matter what.
Yeah,
but
he's 22.
Right.
Even if he goes into a huge slump, he's 22.
Right.
All I could think of is the nickname and possibly even T-shirt, #dope merch potential with this guy. I mean, director of Morel, maybe?
Director
With
we can't do that.
Mr. Morel and the big
crossover.
steppers.
Can't do that. You can't do it to Dom.
Yeah.
He's probably already working on a partnership with him.
Right? We need Morel to stay so that we can start capitalizing and monetizing on those puns.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Jack's asking, is he a future leadoff hitter? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I'll ride that right now until it doesn't work.
Right, exactly. Like, to me, it's been very impressive considering that they are batting him leadoff and he's excelling in it. He's not like the pressure of batting leadoff.
Right.
Like,
Well,
we've seen
the
it
Cubs
time
haven't
and
had
time
one
and
since
time
Dexter.
again from other players. I mean, we're talking about we have watched Kyle Schwarber, Chris Bryant, Albert Almora, like Rafael Ortega,
Schwarber, Rizzo's batted
Rizzo.
leadoff.
I mean, Rizzo's Rizzo's the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. Let's not forget. But you like in a serious mode though, like Morel is doing everything correct at the leadoff position right now. 1 for 3 tonight, 2 walks. Like, I will take that from the leadoff guy every night.
And here's the other thing I love about him is the energy.
Yeah.
And I know that may just seem like some stupid rah thing. Like, no, it's fun to watch him play, and that energy is contagious in a team that's trying to build other young players. And I do believe that these young guys that are playing together, like you have a mixture on this team, right? Mm-hmm. But the young guys that play together all talk about each other. We got that in the preseason. We were talking with Max Bain.
Yeah.
Just about how excited he is to see what kind of pitching they have at different levels. And we asked him about Brendan Davis, and he couldn't stop talking about him.
Right.
Like, these guys are all instead of players at a young age all trying to get to the major league level, instead of them cutting down each other and trying to step over each other to get to the major leagues, they're kind of lifting each other up. That's the message we keep hearing from the minor league system. And you see that kind of energy in a guy like Morel. You see him in the outfield at the end just laughing and having fun about throwing the ball back in to second base hard. Right. When most guys would just, loop it in there and throw it. He's throwing a rocket, kind of catching Simmons off guard.
Right.
He's like, hey, man, I'm still playing. I'm happy. Like, this game's not over.
Right.
And I love to see that energy on a young team. And what's amazing about it is to see it on a team that's, what's the record now, Joey?
19-26.
19-26. I mean, you're 19-26, and that kid's out there playing like he doesn't have a care in the world.
Right. Yeah. I love this comment here from Jack, and the only reason I love it is because it asks an interesting question. It says, Luke, your old buddy David Kaplan just asked, is Keegan Thompson the best pitcher in Chicago this year? I think so. What are your thoughts?
I think Cap is always willing to go one step above what anybody else would ever say.
I mean,
Cap never stops it at here. He always is here. If he's doing cryotherapy, if you're saying you're doing it 2 days, he's going to do it 10 days. So I'm not surprised he said that. What's the ERA? 1.38?
1.58.
1.58? The ERA might tell you he has pitched as well as anybody in Chicago. Now, that said, you're not going to pass down a trade for Giolito. You're just not. You know what I mean? Like, are there other guys in Chicago that are better pitchers than Keegan Thompson? Yes. Has he had the first couple months? Has he pitched as well as anybody?
Yes.
In multiple roles.
For sure. Yeah.
You could definitely say he's been the best reliever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. He's been the best reliever.
He is far and away the best reliever in Chicago this year. There's no one.
And that's not saying anything about the Sox guys.
Yeah, the next guy up might be another Chicago Cub, the way that this bullpen has been. But I mean, I haven't followed the Sox bullpen enough to really make that a clear statement.
It's tough to say he's the best pitcher in Chicago this year, because when you say best pitcher, I generally assume that means starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. Most times people would not even include the best. If you said, back in the 90s, who's the best pitcher in New York? Mm-hmm. I don't know if people would throw Rivera into it, and he's the greatest of all time. So I assume you're talking starting pitchers. His sample size is not nearly big enough. You know, if he'd been marched out there 7 times and we had 7 starts for him to be judged by, then I could say that. Is he pitching as well as anybody in Chicago? The answer to that is yes.
Yes.
And those are 2 different questions, but they touch on a similar subject.
Shall we pose the question now on who is the best shortstop in Chicago?
You've already answered that, haven't you?
I don't want to answer.
No,
it.
you didn't.
No.
There was a lot of heat for that earlier.
Well, that's
this
because
week.
a lot of people just took my words out of context. I'm just
But
kidding.
what a night for Nico.
Nico had a great night.
If he can just stay healthy,
Yeah.
I think we're
But
really.
again,
no
one should dog on him for an umpire.
No,
running
not
into
his
him.
fault. Not his fault at all.
All
Jeez,
right.
he almost got run into by, was it Ian Happ tonight?
Yeah, he almost collided with Ian Happ tonight. Wait, honestly, that play should have been made by Nico, but I, will assume that perhaps Happ called him off, because why else would he just run out of the way?
Yeah.
But in a way, it did avoid any kind of collision or injury, so that's good. So 3 hits though. I mean, you get an elite defense at short as always, and then his balls put in play they're hit hard, man. Like he's just doing everything that you're asking for someone of his player type. The only reason, again, that I even talked about, comparing the two was because, in my opinion, they're just very similar type of players. They don't walk a lot. They both bat right-handed. They both play shortstop in Chicago. And, yeah, Anderson has a much bigger track record, no doubt. There's, no comparison. Nico's got to make it their whole season, right? But you give this guy a full year, and we'll see, maybe he could potentially be at the level of someone like Tim Anderson if he keeps playing like this. That's all I was really saying, was that he has potential to be very good. I don't think that's a crazy take.
No, he's got a potential. Right now, he's playing great baseball, and that's another guy that, again, we're looking for progression. We're exploring for progression, Cody, this season. That's what you're looking for. And Nico has gone from here to here. He's shown it. Before he got hurt, he was playing really well, and that's why you were so disappointed when he runs into the umpire. And then now he's come back, and he's starting to hit the ball hard again. Yeah. Our friend Brendan can't get enough of Nico. That's his guy. I proposed to the White Sox. I said, listen, you can have Nico Hoerner as your future second baseman. He can save you guys at second base, but you're going to have to give up a haul for him. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me this trade's not even happening, because the 2 teams wouldn't do it. But I don't think they understand that the Cubs are starting to believe, I think, that Nico is a firm piece of their future.
Right.
And again, it's a smaller sample size. Stay healthy. Do it all year, and I will believe in what he's doing. I've always actually believed in Nico Hoerner. Mm-hmm. I just think he came up a little bit too early.
Definitely.
And then injuries have slowed him down multiple times.
Yeah.
And again, if he can stay healthy the rest of the season, I think you're going to see a guy who's as good as, you didn't spend the big money on a shortstop. And frankly, we all said, why wouldn't you spend the money on Correa? Well, if you find out that Nico Hoerner's that guy, sure, your team's better if you have both of them on there.
Yeah.
But you might have found a much, much, much cheaper solution at shortstop, so where you can spend your money somewhere else.
Right. I've been an analytics guy since
Cody Delmetrics.
Since May 17th. And Hoerner exit velocities tonight on one of his singles, 102.3 miles per hour. His another single was 98.6 miles per hour, and then the very first one he got was, I think, 91.7. Or no, that was a flyout, my bad. 87.9. So 2 of his 3 hits were hit very hard. I mean, 87 still hit pretty hard, right? But not like one of Nico's hits were one of the hardest hit balls of the night. So, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the thing we were talking about before he got hurt too. He kept getting babboped, as they call it. He had a lot of hard hit balls into gloves, and gods came through for him tonight. So, he's only been back for a couple games. hopefully this is a start of a really good stretch for him, because if the Cubs are going to find a way and get back to 500, as I would love to watch, he will have to play somewhat close to this every night if that's going to happen.
Cubs beat the White Sox 5-1 if you're just getting back from your daily picnic or whatever you were out doing today, because it was a spectacular day in Chicago to start off Memorial Day weekend. 5-1. We're in Studio W because we made the bet with the Sox post-game show guys. We get Studio W. They're over in the other studio right now where, we got Ryan Herrera coming in, and I heard on the other side of town, Tony La Russa said sending the runner was the right move. Crandall. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Ryan, can you hear us?
Hello, how's it going?
You look a little sweaty. A little hot in the press box tonight?
I mean, it was hot earlier. Cooled down for sure, but it was...
Yeah, a little sweaty. You know what you need? You need some of my old TV makeup. Just a little powder. From a puff around the side will improve you there.
Yeah.
I'll bring some in next time. We'll get you all set up.
Yeah, we'll use a little makeup.
I see Cody's in a better mood this time around.
Yes, he is a much better mood today.
You think, Ryan, huh?
Yeah, I know.
So what did David Ross have to say after the game, Ryan?
Obviously he just talked about this. Keegan again, good start, another 5 innings, the most pitches he's ever thrown in a game. So they're obviously letting him go a little deeper. Which Keegan actually thought he wasn't that good. Like he thought he was kind of the control wasn't all there or whatever. And he did get hit relatively hard. It was 88.5 miles per hour average exit velocity, something like that. Earlier in the game, it was at like 93. So kind of picked that up. But, Ross obviously giving him his props for stepping in for a spot start when he was needed, putting the Cubs in a position to win, obviously. Also, Nico, 3 hits. I think someone tweeted from the account that was like this first 3-hit game in a month since like the 3rd week of April, something like that. Yeah, April 23rd. And then Rossi calls him a workaholic. He said he couldn't sit still the whole time he was out. It was 2 weeks or so, a little over 2 weeks. Just said that he was always taking batting practice, always in the cage, and that's just someone that works that hard when they're healing, when they're that's like his rehab. Like he didn't need to go on a rehab assignment because he put in all that work. And obviously you saw it on Wednesday when he came in the 9th inning, got that RBI single, and then he's still hitting the ball well, and you could tell just that 3-hit day again today was, I think won me who you got. I gotta say, I'm just throwing that out there, but
we'll look at that in a second.
But that's kind of the gist of what we talked about. Just those two guys, obviously Keegan, big day on the mound, Nico, big day at the plate, and that's kind of that led the conversation. But obviously, just the whole team kind of putting together a well-rounded game, coming off that really ugly loss in Cincinnati to end that series. So, happy press conference with David Ross. I'll tell you that much.
Did he say anything about Keegan earning more starts? Do we think he'll just go back to his regular role in the bullpen? Was this just a spot start, or will we start to see him get? I would assume one of the double headers eventually he gets a start, right?
Yeah. Well, he was asked about that and kind of was like, obviously need to get him some days off. This is the most pitches, like I mentioned, that he's ever thrown in a game in his career since he came up last year. So they know they need to give him a couple days off. So I don't think Monday would be very likely. As far as maybe those midweek games, because they got doubleheaders coming up on Saturday, or even one of those doubleheaders, or that doubleheader next Saturday. That's probably, he said they'll definitely take a look at that. That's what Rossi said, and I would assume that he's getting a start somewhere. Like there's 11 games in 9 days. Like you're not getting, like a 5-man rotation is not going to be able to take care of that. So I would say that Keegan, just based on how he pitched today, what the next week looks like, I think you can expect Keegan to get a start at some point in the next week. Another start.
I would hope so. Who you got? You had, let's see, Cody going into this was up 4-2 on the season total for the three of us. You took Horner.
I took Wisdom.
You took Wisdom, and I had Contreras.
Yes.
I said that I thought Contreras hits that home run. That was my chance to steal it.
Oh, yeah. It would have.
That was my chance to steal it, was for him to hit that home run. He was robbed. Yep. Absolutely robbed. I would agree that Horner had it. Now, the question is, had I stuck with my original pick of Keegan Thompson, would I have been able to win?
No.
I don't know.
It would have been close.
It would have been it
that,
probably would have
or
been a tie.
both of you would have got a pick or a point.
Yeah, we probably might have got both in a pick.
But I think, I'm willing to give this one to Ryan just because Horner had 3
Yeah,
hits.
we'll give this one to Ryan.
Wisdom had a hit and an RBI tonight, but 3 hits.
Nothing after that.
Yeah, 3 hits will land you a point on who you got.
Well, Contreras had that hit in the left field corner.
That's true.
That almost was an RBI.
Yeah, it was almost.
Yeah, 3. But let's see, Horner 3 hits, the run, and that stolen base, like that Hot Wheels Horner. I think Yasmani Grandal had no chance and didn't even throw it down like that. I think that stolen base won me it pretty much, but that was the difference.
I thought I had a grand slam coming. I thought when he came up with the bases loaded, Contreras, I thought, this is where I win. Who you got? This is where I win it. So let's see what else went down. Did they mention in the anything about that play at the plate? Because from the other side of town, it was pretty unbelievable. I couldn't believe that Grandal was that slow.
No, we didn't mention it. But I also just up in the press box, we're like, was that the right? Like that wasn't the right move. Like, I guess I knew Yasmani Grandal was just like slow in general. I didn't as soon as I saw it go and I saw Ortega get the ball, I'm like, he's barely running third and he's going. Like that was just not a good play. And no, we didn't talk about that play at all. But it was very that was a pretty brutal play. Like that was just not the right call at that point in time.
Yeah, our Twitter poll says that retired Miggy Montero would win a race against Yasmani Grandal.
Yeah.
So facts only. In this
Don't let facts get away with a good story, right?
That's
exactly.
correct. You guys are learning.
We should put that on a shirt, honestly.
That should be
like his cartoon on it.
A T-shirt. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. I wanted to ask you about Morel. Like, we've seen this guy in the leadoff spot, and we've been impressed. You've been impressed too, right? Like, I wouldn't take him out of that leadoff spot until it's not working. I would play him every day until it's not working. Was there any talk, or did he talk after the game, or Ross even mention Morel? Because I thought he had a great game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ross, you talked about Morel. Obviously, that was the leadoff single start the game, but he said he was even more impressed with the walks he took. That second walk, I think, I tweeted it out, and there was 2 very close balls that could easily have been called strikes. 1, and 2 could also very easily have been pitches that Morel swung at. I think both were sliders. I might be wrong. I know the first one was a cutter. The second one was a slider that were right there, and just good, obviously solid eye for the ball, eye on the ball, eye for the plate. Didn't swing. Obviously worked that walk, and you kind of saw him celebrate a walk. Like, how often do people celebrate walks? Like that was just that, just that personality again. But Ross was very. He kind of praised the way that Morel, just already 22 years old and not even 2 full weeks in the big leagues, and that eye looks the eye looks really good. That the plate discipline looks really good. He's I don't think he even swung at the first pitch anytime, but kind of worked those counts and got on base. Yeah, it was 2 walks. 2 walks, and then that base hit to start off the game. But yeah, no, he. Just a lot of praise all around, obviously, but Morel succeeding still in his role and just doing what the Cubs need, especially in the leadoff. That's a tough role to fill in the lineup. I think Ross has just been really impressed with the way Morel has performed from that spot over the last 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of just taking the opportunity and really done some good work with it.
He celebrated that 1 walk like Joey Votto this week.
Yeah. I was, when we were talking about Morel earlier, we've talked about how Horner started the year at the bottom of the lineup. other guys have started or have been at the bottom of the lineup that we've like begged to get brought up higher in the lineup. I mean, Morel's barely been here, and he's already batting leadoff. And I know he's, the league hasn't fully adjusted to him yet, but has anyone asked Ross if like why he decided to make this move? Because I really have no idea if like who or what gave him the idea to do it. Because for a rookie, only 22 years old, only in Double-A, that I still don't really understand why he did it. I'm glad he did it, obviously, because what we've seen, but it's just very out of the ordinary from what we've seen with other players.
I mean, not today. I mean, that move was made when they were in Cincinnati, I want to say. So that is very possibly a question that was asked in Cincinnati and kind of moved on from there. Yeah, bold to put a 22-year-old, first major league experience. Like, I think it was coming into today, he had like 76 plate appearances above Double-A. Like, a bold move to put him into your leadoff spot. But I think, Ross again has recognized just the discipline around the plate, knowing the strike zone, and being able to work counts. Foul off tough pitches, lay off ones that are close but are clearly balls. I think Ross has just seen that approach and seen his ability to recognize the strike zone, and is letting him, run with the opportunity until obviously he doesn't. I guess we'll see, because I don't know. I haven't gone and looked back at it, but I know we've seen the lineup change a lot over the first going on 2 months now, and to consistently have four or five straight games in the leadoff spot hasn't been something that we've seen from anyone on the roster throughout the season. So Ross, it looks like he's found something that's working with Morel up there, a position he's comfortable in. So I think it's just one of those things where he saw something, he liked it, and since it's working, he's going to let it, he's going to ride with it.
And we shouldn't think that just because he was in the minor leagues that David Ross doesn't know about him. Like, he sees him at spring training a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He certainly, we looked, or you found out that, Morel's made this progression with looking at walks and taking walks, and he's done it at each level more and more. I guarantee you David Ross and the Cubs know that same fact. Like, they've seen that. They know he's been doing that. And he probably sees the confidence in the kid. But if we're going to judge David Ross this season, we've said how difficult it is to judge him on these first couple seasons. Starting with a 60-game season is difficult. They trade away half the team. Individual moves like this are things you start to slowly, create a profile on what David Ross is doing. Maybe he knows his players pretty well. Like, maybe he's found a role for this kid that's helping him succeed early on in his career at the major league level, or it's his personality. But it would be an interesting question to see what his response would be. Like, what was the deciding factor? And you know what? Let's try and put this guy at leadoff. I'd be curious what he would respond to that if we get another chance at Ross. I don't know if he might not talk tomorrow morning, but if he does, I'd be interested.
Yeah. No, it's just, again, that's what's kind of impressed me the most is what he is. 22 years old, rookie. We're just putting him in leadoff. He's batting leadoff for the Chicago Cubs in the Crosstown Series tonight, and he's going to probably do it again tomorrow. And it's just, again, all the credit to Ross for giving him the opportunity. And, there will come an adjustment period, but if he continues to see pitches like he has been, you ideally or theoretically would think that perhaps it wouldn't be as bad of a stretch as long as if he keeps seeing a lot of pitches like he has been.
All right, Ryan, any other news and nuggets before we let you go? I know you got to be back at the ballpark pretty early tomorrow.
Yeah, you're telling me. No, I mean, Stroman is, like I said the other day, so I guess I predicted that Stroman would be the starter tomorrow, and he is in the game notes. But I guess it has a little bit to do, and actually Keegan getting the start today has a little bit to do with, I guess, Wade Miley's dealing with some shoulder issues, not anything that's making like an IL placement imminent, but it's something that like is bugging him. And so that I think I want to say
You just ruined Cody's night.
no, but he talked to a few reporters and said that I know Maddie Lee I think she tweeted it out, but that he just his last start against Arizona just never could really felt warmed up. And so that kind of just a little bit of issue there. And again, like nothing that that makes an IL placement like even likely as far as even imminent. But it's something that they're going to monitor. I know. I think he's supposed to throw tomorrow. He still has to throw another bullpen. They're going to kind of check him out and see how he feels after that. So don't get too down on anything right now, Cody. He could be okay. But that's just a nugget from as far as why Wade Miley wasn't starting this weekend. I know we said maybe it's because the White Sox mashed lefties and this is a good time to just push him back, get Marcus Stroman in there. But it also has Wade Miley wasn't ready to go this weekend at the end of the day.
Well, spin zone, if Miley does have to go on the IL, then we're forced to get some Caleb Keegan. So
yeah, for sure.
I am already back.
But we don't want it to come because of the IL.
That's true.
All right, Ryan, we'll let you go. We might get up early, have a good breakfast in the morning, and we'll see after the game.
Get
After
some orange juice.
By the way, you get last pick on who you got since you won tonight.
Well, that's
the rules.
Just not. Didn't Cody get first pick today?
Yeah, you guys.
That
both
hasn't
picked
been a rule at all.
You know what happened
Luke?
again? What happened again? Ageism. I got the last pick again. Just because
We
I
let
won
you have the first
by
pick
the
of the
way,
draft.
Overwhelmingly won that crosstown draft. You guys took some heat on the internets.
Yeah, the Ken Griffey Jr. one it backfired. It did not work. I saw someone
we were slandered at an all-time level, Ryan.
Oh man, no,
I tried to even help you guys out a little bit. It was not fun.
Yeah,
I had to mute the notifications.
Yeah, the three of us got I think 85% of that was people like mad that we didn't take Frank Thomas, even though like the rules were so clear and we made them very clear.
Then once I straightened them out, they all said I had the best team. And then they were still mad about you taking Griffey.
Yeah,
that was the most angry. That really got people upset when you took Griffey instead of Aaron Rowan.
Sean was like bamboozled by the fact that I took Burley over like Sale, or just the fact that I took Burley so early. But I'm like, isn't Burley like the icon of your pitching
He's supposed
staff?
to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he should be a Hall of Famer.
All right.
Yeah.
We got to roll. Ryan, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll get your pick sometime in the morning.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
See you, bro.
If you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is the PointsBet app. Use the code CHGO when you sign up. 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, a free CHGO membership. You get into that locker. You get your shirt of a choice. Any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com. We will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is ready to go in Illinois. It's up and going. PointsBet app, download it right now. Register your account, start to finish, all from your phone. And it's the fastest sports book, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just live your life. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Here at CHGO, we're bringing you post-game shows 7 days a week here on the Cubs this week. Cranking them out. We'll be back
7 days a week.
We'll be back on Sunday again tomorrow.
Yeah. Just,
we're doing it for you.
We're here for the people. You know what I mean?
That's right, because we are the people.
Right. How many more minutes do we got?
Couple minutes, maybe?
Minutes?
What do we got? Where are we at?
We are at 58 minutes.
58
right,
minutes.
So a few minutes.
Couple minutes.
Question that we haven't mentioned this, but Lynn Casper on the call tonight with AJ Brzezinski. I don't know. What were your thoughts? Just the fact
about hearing Len.
Yeah, about hearing Lynn
on the Cubs again.
Yeah, like I had a few moments where I was like, "Oh man, this is bringing back some flashbacks."
I just knew we weren't going to get an out of here. That wasn't coming. Like he was going to be
whoa baby.
Right, he wasn't. Yeah. We weren't going to get a whoa baby. He was going to be toe the line.
Yeah.
I thought AJ was pretty fair the broadcast too. I always love hearing Len do the broadcast.
Admittedly going into it, I just had, and this is just because I'm not over it. I'm not going to be over it. Like I'm just not. Like, and that doesn't mean I don't like the guy. I do think that, he just left. Like, the timing could not have been worse when he left, in my opinion. But, again, if he wants to leave because of the reasons he want to leave, that's fine. It just sucks that he had to go to the other side of town. That's why I'm just, I'm bitter
But
about
that's
it.
what broadcasters do in Chicago.
Right.
Harry Carey was the White Sox, ended up with the Cubs.
I know, but
he's
this
more
is
famous
like-
for being the Cubs broadcaster.
Yeah, that's true. I know that this happens all the time, but going into it, I was like, okay, so we got the White Sox radio guy and a White Sox, like literally a White Sox legend, I guess you could say.
Well, Steve
calling
Stone did
this
it too.
And I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
not going to be fun. And it was actually okay. It was better than having to listen to Joe Buck and Pierzynski together, a St. Louis guy and a White Sox guy going up on a Cubs broadcast. So I did appreciate that. It was actually really good. So I just wanted your thoughts. And someone asked about it in the chat earlier too. So
Yeah, I mean, Len's awesome.
yeah.
And you know what? Connor McKnight did a great job on the radio with them recently too, helping fill out their lineup there. He did some games with the Yankees, did some of the Red Sox series. Used to work with Connor. He's great. Like, he's super talented.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they give him more opportunities to do some games too, because Connor, I think, has a super bright future. Whether he needs some analyst work alongside Len doing the play-by-play and trading off. I thought they're both good.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's final game between the Cubs and Sox this season, unless of course they meet in the World Series. Dramatic pause.
Don't let me talk myself into it.
Stroman versus Cease.
Oh God.
Now, but I know here's the deal with Cease. I don't know what we're going to get from Stroman, but I know he would like to stick it to Tony La Russa.
He would.
So that part I like.
Like, the storylines for tomorrow are fun for this rivalry for even people like me who are very whatever about this rivalry.
Brendan's asking what the prop says on the bottom of the scoreboard. There's a Bulls hat for you holding it up. Oh, it says World Series champs 2016. Yeah.
Yeah. People
does.
forget that.
We were talking about that with the Sox guys, that they haven't won a playoff series since 2005.
Yeah.
So that means kids that are driving cars
Yeah.
and heading to college haven't seen a playoff series. That's a long.
I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school.
I mean, I get it. They're disappointed in what's happened so far.
for the White Sox.
Yeah.
I was 6 years old when the White Sox won the World Series. 6.
6.
6 years old.
Brendan says, thank you, Luke.
Were you even potty trained?
Yes, I was potty trained. And
Joey
I actually
was barely potty trained when the White Sox
I
won.
almost was like, the Sox are really cool. Like, do I like
You
this
almost
team
jumped.
now? No. Nope, never
You
happened.
almost jumped. So what do you think, Cease, the former Cubs prospect? Here's the deal. He goes every other game right now. He's been actually inconsistent. And we heard Eloy, by the way, injured again in his rehab stint tonight. 3 innings last outing, 7 earned runs, 2 homers for Cease. Outing
Against the
before
Red
that,
Sox, right?
7 innings, no runs. But the one before that, 4 innings, 6 runs. So in 2 of his last 3 outings, 13 runs in 7 innings. So I don't know what
doesn't
Dylan
bode-
Cease. I don't know which Dylan Cease you're going to get.
That does
But the
not
Cubs
bode
might have
well.
a shot at a split.
It does not bode well for the Chicago Cubs tomorrow.
I think it was best that they got their win.
It is
Tonight.
best that they got their win tonight, yes. Tomorrow is coming around for Dylan Cease just in time for him to get back on track. You know
What
what's
about
gonna
the
happen.
Stroh show? He's your guy.
Oh, that doesn't mean Marcus Stroman's not going to go out there and shove tomorrow, but Dylan Cease is going to keep I think he's not going to give up 5 runs like Johnny Cueto did tonight. So I am mentally preparing for the worst tomorrow. That's where I'm at.
Cody.
That's where I'm at.
The negativity
I was
you
happy.
bring.
I'm happy to get
The
one
negativity.
against the Sox. I'm happy to get one. I'm not going to go overboard here.
That kind of negativity
But if
breeds
they
more
win,
negativity.
if the Cubs win tomorrow, Luke, I'll celebrate it, and then I'll talk myself into them sweeping the Brewers
wait.
doubleheader on Memorial Day. Okay?
You hear that?
Yeah,
That's Sean and Herb
that's true.
raging on the other side of the wall.
All right, spin
And
zone.
we'll leave you with that.
Yeah, spin
Cubs
zone,
win
we won
5-1. They're raging on the other side of the wall. Thanks for listening and watching the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. We will see you for a pregame show, 12:30 Sunday morning. We'll be right back here with the Crosstown guys. Until then, fly the W.